Will Apple be having a keynote at the end of this month, maybe early November? I really hope so, and luckily some of the leaks are leaning in Apple's favor because the iPad Pro leaks just keep piling in, telling us that a release is imminent, but we were also expecting that at Worldwide Developers Conference and it didn't happen, so the question remains, will Apple bless us with an iPad Pro refresh at the end of October? Well, if they do, here's some of the evidence to suggest that it will be happening. Let's begin. So we've got a lot of iPad Pro leaks to cover, but before we get into that, I figured I should address this problem I'm having. I'm getting overweight. I've been gaining a lot of weight recently because I've been so busy and working at desks and working at the office all the time that I've decided I'm gonna do something about it. I'm gonna take action, and I figured the best way to take action and to actually make some choices about this is cover it all up with some limited edition Tailosive merch. So yeah, this is available on the store right now, and I know a lot of you are gonna say it's too expensive, so luckily there's a sale going on right now, and you use the promo code LEAF18, you can get 15% off everything in the store. That's, again, today and tomorrow. And then we have another promo code coming around October 16th till the 19th, which is when you can use promo code Tailosive, and then once again get everything 15% off in our store. And like I said, this design will not be available forever. So if you're interested in it, it will be available till the end of October. Once Techtober's over, you can't get this shirt anymore. So if you're interested, want to rock some of the new merch, want to help us out, please check out the link in the description and order one for yourself, or don't. You also help us out just by watching the video. So let's talk about iPads. I really miss having my iPad Pro. I sold it a while ago in anticipation that the new one was going to come out, and then it didn't, even at the iPhone event, and I was like, dang it, because I love iOS on that much bigger screen, gives you so much more flexibility between multitasking, picture-in-picture, and it's due for an upgrade because it's been over a year since the last iPad Pro refresh, and I'm getting really hyped because so many different news pages are highlighting things that are coming out and leaking about the next iPad Pro refresh. Of course, a lot of the stuff you guys know about already. Face ID being adopted, and code is suggesting it will work in both portrait and landscape mode, and if that's the reason they have to delay the iPad, then I'm totally fine with it. I feel like it would have been way worse if they decided to release the iPad Pro early, but you couldn't do Face ID and landscape. Maybe they didn't release it at Worldwide Developers Conference or the iPhone keynote because they needed a little bit more extra time to perfect Face ID, make sure it can work from multiple angles. In that case, the wait is absolutely worth it, and hopefully those leaks and rumors are true. Another piece of very interesting data that's been leaking a lot is that the iPad will now be supporting USB-C, which I think is a great move because everyone in the MacBook realm has already been adapting to USB-C dongles and such. I'm always pro USB-C. If you can add that to a device, that's great. I wouldn't mind having it on iPhones, but I know Apple's not going to do that. But the iPad is a pro product. It's literally in the name. It's supposed to be used with more pro accessories, and hopefully switching to USB-C will make that more possible. In fact, I would personally be okay with having two USB-C ports, one so you can charge at one while you do something else, external monitor, accessory, any sort of thing. I think this would be a good move for Apple, and I love seeing that this code keeps popping up, that iPad is switching to USB-C in 2018. All the leaks are also suggesting that it's going to be released at the end of 2018, preferably in the November time period, which I'm really hoping for. I would like to not have to wait till 2019 to get this because I've been really excited for getting a same-size bezel iPad again, and there's even more rumors to report that 9to5Mac has discovered the new iPads will not be shipping with the most recently designed A12 chip. They'll actually be shipping with a slightly upgraded version to support the new iPad Pros that would inevitably be called the A12X chip. Not gonna be crazy faster than the A12, but still a little bit of an extra boost for those power users and for graphical performance for games and video editing that people may be doing on the iPad Pro. I think the iPad is leading the market when it comes to tablets and what you can do without having to buy a physical keyboard and trackpad separately and just convert it into a laptop. What you can do with a touch interface and just an Apple Pencil on an iPad is pretty astounding, and I'm very amazed with what they've accomplished, and I love that they're going to keep pushing that and keep saying, nope, there's even less reasons to buy a laptop now. So I'd be really excited to see them push the industry when it comes to CPU performance, because the A12 chip on iPhones is already industry leading and can rival that of many laptop computers out right now. Now, this leak that we're getting from China is a little bit of a reach, and I've gotten hold hopeful before, so I'm not going to try to get too excited about this, but there's a couple of MIIT registered devices that are having some people think Apple's going to release an updated Apple Pencil this year. I've been looking forward to this for a long time because I think the Apple Pencil is drastically outdated. It really needs a refresh. The pairing process is just getting silly now. The fact that they haven't addressed these complaints for the last 3 years, I think it's time for the Apple Pencil to get a refresh. And what the leaks are suggesting are something I would really like to see, suggesting that the Apple Pencil would pair to your iPad very similarly to AirPods. So there could just be a button on the top of the Apple Pencil that you hold down, and then it pops up W1 chip style, and you can just hit connect, which is so much better than just plugging it into the iPad like a moron. And it makes sense that they would have to change the way you pair your Apple Pencil to your iPad because we'll be switching to USB-C, which is bad news for people who already have Apple Pencils. That means that for a lot of you guys with the Apple Pencil out there with the Lightning port already on it, you won't be able to plug it in to the iPad. So it makes sense that the year they switch to USB-C would be the year they have to update the Apple Pencil to be a bit more intuitive. How exactly they would charge that pencil, I'm not sure. Maybe there's a button on the top that allows it to enter pairing mode, but the cap you can still pull off and then charge it. Same way you charge your iPad, have that little USB-C adapter and charge it that way, which is still a little weird. I personally hope they make a little charge stand that you can just drop the pencil into, have it charged that way. But regardless, I'm happy that the Apple Pencil will finally be getting an update, and let's really hope that they go forward with a design change, like maybe getting some new color options. And most importantly, that W1 pairing, I think, is going to be the savior. The method right now is ridiculous. Most of the other features of the iPad are supposedly getting updated as well. Reports saying that the USB-C port on the iPad Pros will be capable of outputting 4K HDR video. So again, trying to market this towards more professionals and saying, look at all the things you can do with our new iPads. They're very capable. Not sure exactly if that will be like Thunderbolt 3, but still, even if it's anything like that, it will be fairly impressive. Wanted to give a quick shout out to some of these conceptors out there. Please check out their Instagram pages for when they design these concepts for the new iPad Pros. I think they look absolutely stunning. And if these leaks end up being remotely true, I'll be very excited to see an iPad with that close of a bezel-less design and no notch to worry about, because you need a little bit of bezel for your hands to rest on, but just a lot thinner than they currently are right now, and it would probably put the Pixel Slate as well as the Surface Pro tablets design-wise to shame. Now, we got some dimensions for the new iPad Pros leaked on /leaks this morning that are suggesting something interesting, which is that the new iPad Pros actually have the exact same resolution of last year's. So a lot of people were wondering, are the displays going to be bigger than they were last year because there's less bezel, or will the form factor shrink and the screen size stay the same? Well, this doesn't exactly help us know, because it's possible that Apple may have lowered the pixel density on both of them in order to stretch them out a little bit to reach this new bezel-less design trend. Possible they could have done that, but it's far more likely that Apple was just in favor of shrinking the form factor so that you could still get a 12.9-inch iPad Pro with the same resolution of last year, but now with a lot less empty space around the edges, so it can fit a lot more comfortable in the hand, which I completely agree with. That would be a good move. They could keep making, for the most part, the same displays they've been making since 2017, obviously keeping their 120 hertz refresh rate, but be much easier to carry because obviously they're not going to be as large. And with a pretty thin design of 5.9 millimeters, which is going to be fairly impressive for a device that has a 13-inch display like that. Also, all the concepts are talking about a more boxy approach that looks more like the iPhone 5 body than the iPhone 10, with its more rounded edges, and I kind of hope that's not true. I think that looks kind of weird. iPads that are going for bezel-less but have more boxy design. Some of you may prefer that, but maybe they're trying to make it look more like a MacBook in that way, or maybe that's supposed to help with some of the cases they're going to be making for this device. But personally, I would rather have iPads that have rounded corners like the iPhones do. Maybe that's not as good for smart covers or something like that. I assume they've probably done a bit more research than I have, but what do you guys prefer? Let me know in the comments. But yeah, for the device logs that we're seeing in iOS code, it seems like there's 6 different serial numbers we're not used to seeing listed, which could mean 3 different colors, and then their cellular versions. So I'm gonna remain rightfully skeptical, because we've gotten leaks like this before and thought the iPads were about to drop and then they didn't, but they're really stacking up, and it really makes me think that some of these leaks have to be somewhat true, right? The only thing blocking me from completely believing these leaks and reports is, once again, the fact that Apple hasn't yet announced the keynote date. I'm really hoping they do. It's also possible they've released it by the time you see this video, so if it's happened while you're watching this, I apologize. But but at the time of recording this at least, it hasn't been confirmed. I'm really hoping any day now Apple sends out the invites, and then we can basically confirm if there's another keynote happening this year, the iPad will probably be the star of the show. That'll be the first thing or last thing they talk about because it's a big major upgrade. So we'll get things like the updated Mac Mini, budget MacBook, stuff like that. So all good things to look forward to. Hopefully at the end of this year, I'd really like to not have to wait till 2019 to get an iPad again because I miss having my iPad. It's so functional, it's so useful, they're so powerful, and I could really use a new one. So let me know if you guys are waiting for one down in the comments below. And don't forget, promo code for today and tomorrow is LEAF18 to get these for 15% off. And then later on October 16th through the 19th, use promo code Tailosive to get 15% off everything in our store. This is your Apple Sheep here. I'll see you in the next one.